Hey, what's up, guys? This is another episode of The Boys Try Stuff on the Internet. My name's Donnie Fox, introducing this episode along with a very special guest, Mr. Nick Irvin. What's up, Nick?
Yeah, I was happy to be a guest on the show.
Yeah, we had you actually on this episode that we're introducing because we tried some mead, which Steve is a newbie to mead. I believe he said he had never really tried it before. You work at this wonderful meadery in Flagstaff, Arizona, and yeah, wound up being a great time. We had some laughs and some great mead.
Yeah, it was definitely a great time. I think people listening will definitely get a kick out of our humor, and if not, well, rats off to you.
And, we always like to say, we hope that you like the show, and you probably will. But if you don't, then pass the show along to your enemy. Use it as like a vindictive, like torture device.
That's a great strategy. Yeah, it was great to come on and share some mead with you guys. Yeah, Steve hadn't had mead before, so it was kind of a cool tri-state episode. We got Arizona, New York, and North Carolina involved, and getting some mead in our bellies and some laughs on the record.
And I feel like by the end of the episode, you had like truly won Steve over. He's like, I am placing an order right now. I'm switching from drinking wine. I'm a mead guy now. So like it was a full on conversion, like a religious conversion that happened.
It was. I kind of like reached out and touched his forehead and pushed him over, and that was it. That was end of story. He's a drinking horner for life. I don't think we've ever said a drinking horner, but hey.
The phrase is coined now.
Yeah, drinking horn meadery, Flagstaff, Arizona. Check it out.
The other thing that was kind of funny is I had just received my second vaccination, and I was pretty sick, but just like pulled all my energy. I mustered it up, and I feel like this episode was one of our most like professional podcasts that we ever did, where it was focused. I took all the little energy I had left and just like laser focused it. And then by the end, in the last like 10 or 15 minutes, I'm like, okay, I took a breath. I'm like, we need to talk about like some toilet humor now. And we went from professionally talking about mead to just going right in the gutter and falling back on our old habits.
Yeah, that's a great way of describing it. Falling back on old habits. Yeah, from all you guys' other shows, this was a very, very professional sounding one, but it's still, I don't know if people just listen to this one, if they would call it professional or not. But you stepped up for sure, man. You didn't seem like you were feeling bad at all, but you were just boom, boom, boom. I think what was Steve calling you, like Sally Jesse Raphael or something like that?
I think so. Yeah, or. Steve Harvey, I don't know. Yeah,
Steve. A combination, all three.
It's because I was wearing a big suit with like shoulder pads.
Yeah, and a big old bob haircut for the Sally Jesse. You got your red sunglasses or your red eyeglasses on. Man, you know what? If someone knows what we're talking about with Sally Jesse Raphael, good on you, and you are probably 40 years old.
What a demographic we have. So yeah, anyway, that being said, that's just a little taste of the mead episode that you're about to listen to. Check it out as the boys try drinking horn mead. All right, so what's up, everybody? This is The Boys Try Stuff on the Internet. This is Steve and Donnie's podcast, just about friends getting together, trying a thing. That's kind of like the cornerstone or like the groundwork of our podcast. But really what it's about is just bullshitting and reminiscing of times past. And there's no better person to reminisce about times past than Mr. Nick Irvin.
Are you calling me old?
I didn't say it.
No.
Yeah.
we won't know how old you are unless we, chopped your leg off and counted the rings. So
true. Or I thought it was his butt.
His butt. No, that thing defies age. So we saw
That's
it earlier.
True. The man's got like a 22-year-old's butt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On like a 40-year-old body.
Yeah.
Hey, if my butt's 22, I'll be 50. I don't care.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, send me your squat regimen. Anyway.
So yeah, you got Donnie, that's myself, Steve up above there, and Nikki to the right. Two of my like brothers from another mother. Even though Nick over there is right now in Flagstaff, Arizona, Steve is in Westchester, New York, and I'm here in Asheboro, North Carolina. And that's
Nice.
that's the beauty
Ooh.
of technology. Look at us.
I know.
We're magically whisked away to the drinking horde Meadery. And
Yeah.
that's not just because that Nick works there, not just because we got a special delivery. Maybe it is just because that.
I like the whole kind of Brady Bunch kind of thing. Like I can look up and be like,
Here's a
Here's a story about Nicky.
he was just a guy working at a meadery.
with
He had
that.
2 dudes on the Zoom call. It's actually Twitch. I'm an idiot.
It's okay. You got a 22-year-old, but a 22-year-old, but.
So thanks for having me on you
yeah.
guys' show. I've been, jealous that I haven't been, I won't say invited, but pulled on to the Boys Try Stuff yet because I like trying stuff. But yeah, maybe this will get things going.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, this spawned from our you guys were doing that what's that thing called the chat room thing, the voice, what is that again? I don't know.
AOL?
No. AIM? I think we're on AIM. No, what's damn, it's escaping me because I haven't been on, but we were on that. We just came up with it and started rocking with it.
So Signal, we were all on Signal together, and we were doing like a group chat about the future of the beverage industry. And we were kind of like, oh, are we best friends now? Did we just all become best friends?
Yep.
Clubhouse. That's
yeah,
right.
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. There you go.
Signal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Signal.
Yeah.
Clubhouse.
Yeah, Clubhouse. We're in the Clubhouse.
But yeah, that's how this spawned. And then, we got a nice package. Well,
we do.
Sent from Nick. We've been chomping at the bit to get into these bad boys.
I've been chomping at the bit so hard that I actually got my second vaccination shot yesterday, and I'm dying and like just sick and exhausted, and just like you guys can't see it but glistening.
So my normal state.
Yeah, just normal Steve, abnormal Donnie, but I just couldn't wait any longer. I'm like, vaccination be damned. So
you're a trooper, bro. I'd put you out there. I'd put you out there for 162.
I appreciate it.
You're on my team.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just saw someone pop into the chat.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah.
It is none other than Manny Manville 1000 saying, hey, goof wagons. Sorry to interrupt, but Manny Manheim Steamroller himself jumping in the chat.
Well, that's the beauty of doing a live video show is that we get participation. So we may pause and talk to people sometimes. But I don't know where I was going with that. I guess that, I don't know. Oh, yeah, we found out that Steve really hadn't had much mead before or really knew anything about it. So we thought this would be an excellent opportunity to kind of give Steve like a mead 101 lesson.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, just to kind of spawn off of that just a little bit, mead is super old, and we can get into how old, but it's becoming, yet it's like very new to a lot of people, and that's been really exciting for me to get into this beverage and be able to introduce it to a lot of people. That's been a blast. Sniffing straight from the bottle.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I know, because when we did the Clubhouse thing, like I said, I saw a couple things on your Instagram, and then when we talked about it, then I started looking into it a little bit, and you got me pumped, and I've been waiting. I almost cracked these open a couple times since I got them, but yeah, no, I held out. I'm very excited. You know me, I like not weird, but just different than off the regular kind of run of the mill beer or wine or whatever. And like you said, the Viking strength this, and people with armor. So I'm excited.
Steve likes to eat good stuff. He likes to drink good stuff. Yeah.
And this is good stuff.
Yeah. So would you mind, I guess, explaining to Steve and I guess to me too, because I'm pretty much a novice when it comes to the process, How is mead different from creating beer or wine?
Yeah. So to create the way that at least we as humans like to create ethanol or alcohol, drinking alcohol, is to basically feed a certain type of yeast sugar, and they will convert that sugar molecule into ethanol, into alcohol, to give us all those cool, funky, fun effects. Usually fun. So basically you're looking to ferment sugars, and with beer, the sugars that you ferment come from grain, barley, wheat, what have you, rice in some cases. For wine, those sugars come from grapes. And for mead, that sugar source is honey. And so if you give yeast some kind of sugar and in the right conditions, they're going to make that alcohol. And yeah, so mead is basically just fermented honey. It's a very simple beverage, usually just honey, yeast, and water. And so yeah, that's the difference between those three. There's a lot more differences. Beer, as we know, usually uses hops, and then wine can go through different kind of acidification processes and stuff. Whereas mead is usually just left to ferment as is, and it is super, super old, and there's reasons behind that. So we have found evidence going back 7,000 BC to pottery that looks like it had fermented honey, which is older than any other evidence that we have. But it makes sense if you think about it. Before agriculture, before you had giant swaths of grain or giant areas where you were growing grapes, you could have had a big old hunk of honey just sitting there in a log with some rain that fell, and some person came up and slurped it up, and you didn't have to go out and have a ton of crops to create a little bit of alcohol. You just needed a beehive that was cracked open and started fermenting. And so it really does make sense that it would be one of the first alcoholic beverages to be drank, drunk, boom. Okay.
It's crazy to think that it predates civilization or farming. It's almost like back to caveman days of just some guy stumbling upon mead that had been fermenting somewhere, like you said, in a log with some rainwater or something. And
it might be would you call it the purest form of alcohol consumption? Could possibly be, right?
I mean, I would love to call it that, and if people want to call it that, that's awesome. because
it's almost a natural occurring. Because obviously, you said you got to do hops, or you got to do grapes, you got to squash them, all this stuff. Like you said, a beehive cracks open, goes into a puddle, sits there, ferments. Guy sips it up. That's the most purest form of alcohol drinking I've ever heard.
I just want to read something real quick.
Yeah, bim, bam, boom.
From our live comments. It is fun fact: the term honeymoon comes from drinking mead after marriage. They had a month to drink and procreate. I don't know if that's true or not because it's from Steve's friend Bernie. So
that's a hot Bernie fact. Yeah. I'm telling you, my man has some facts.
Okay. I'm gonna say I believe it.
That's really cool.
Ding, 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 ding. You should believe it because it is correct.
Oh, that's awesome.
That Bernie burn, feel the burn. Bernie,
I felt that burn just now.
Yeah, absolutely. Honeymoon. So yeah, for a wedding, the whatever they called it back then, but husband and wife, groom and bride were given a moon cycle's worth, or 30 days, or a moon cycle's worth of mead. And they would go off and, drink mead. And it says procreate. It's like, here, happy fertility, have babies. And yep, right there. Yeah, anatomy lesson.
Yes.
Right down there.
By the way, yes.
Eggplant, whatever.
Emoji. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, honeymoon. So honey for the honey wine, a moon cycle. So the month of mead to go out, get tipsy with your significant other, and maybe make a baby.
And honey seems like something that human beings have been collecting for a long time because there's a lot of medicinal properties to it. And it doesn't spoil really, right? So it makes sense that they were collecting this into jugs, and then magically fermentation happened, and
nice.
Yeah, it's and you said before, Steve, you said a pure, and one thing I do love about mead, and I've learned to really love about mead. Just a quick backstory: I do come from a beer background, brewery background, but I've just gotten into this mead stuff the past couple of years. One thing I do love is the purity, because honey itself is a pretty pure substance. It's it's different from grain and grapes in that it doesn't have a bunch of kind of other stuff that comes along with it. And so we talked about this on a Meadcast episode, and actually me and Donnie have kind of talked about this too, is that with that, in the morning, your body hasn't had to, say, filter a bunch of things out, since it's just honey, yeast, and water. And so you tend to get punished a little less in the morning. So that's another kind of way of thinking about mead as a pretty pure form of alcohol.
And for me, like it's kind of almost the perfect transition, because I went, I was always drinking Bud Lights and whatever, and then I started getting the craft beer. And then recently, I think we had this discussion. I got into natural wine. It's very similar, whereas like less of a hangover. And now this is even goes even tenfold to natural wine, because still grapes, all that's good stuff, but this is literally honey and water, and it's freaking awesome.
And naturally fermented wine sometimes might have some wild yeast or like probiotics in it too, which is good for the tum tum.
Yeah, but I mean, so for me, that's why I was so excited when you were saying. I was like, mead. I was like, wait, like from the Vikings, like you're like, yeah, dude.
Game of Thrones and Vikings and all that.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm just gonna be in teacher mode, so not sorry. Talking about Vikings, absolutely, and with drinking horn in our mead hall, it's part of the big culture. But bees are on almost every continent. They actually, well, not Antarctica, but North America, they weren't very prevalent. We're starting to find some evidence that there may have been some honeybees in North America. But anyway, not just Europe, but also, Asian continent, Africa, like all these different, South America, there were bees. So mead is actually a beverage that a lot of people associate with the Vikings, but it was all over the world. And so there are a lot of cultures, pretty much every culture has some form of mead, in their history. Alcoholic
ancient Egypt and ancient Mayans, all that. Yeah. I think people think of the Vikings because they were nomadic and they're traveling all over the place and conquering and probably finding those delicious alcoholic filled jugs of honey. So
yeah.
And
then they're probably the most badass of all.
Yeah.
We like them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah. What you're looking at here, the people looking, watching live or later on, if you catch this, is our mead hall. So a mead hall was really, and I talked to this expert on mead halls, Steve Pullington, on one of our Meadcast episodes. I'm just going to keep plugging our podcast, by the way. About mead halls, and they were like just the basically the center of every establishment, every whatever town or village, and you would have everything from weddings there to trials to parties, and so the mead hall was a longhouse. And so these buildings in Flagstaff, if you go into a bar in Flagstaff, most likely it's what you would call in New York a shotgun bar, where it just is long and straight. So it worked perfectly to have this longhouse mead hall for us. And we've got the long table there kind of on the bottom right, you can see. And so I just want to point that out. We definitely dig on the Viking theme and the Norse. Viking is a profession. It's not necessarily a people. So you would go
it's a creed.
Yeah.
A creed. Oh.
If you guys don't mind, I'm going to try to transition us into trying our first bottle.
Cool. Oh, yes. Oh,
sounds
yes.
good.
Let's drink.
How do you guys feel about some pom-pom here?
We're doing pom?
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we're going to try first the Drinking Horn Pomegranate Mead, and this is 13% ABV.
Yep. Almost all of Drinking Horn's meads are 13%. Heyo.
Ooh. Oh wow, that's nice.
So pomegranate, we've got 5 that are our year-round. Well, we're starting to gain a couple more year-rounds because of popularity, but our main 5, our core 5, pomegranate is one of them, as well as traditional, apple, Bluetooth, which is our blueberry mead, and prickly pear.
Ooh.
I don't know if I missed one there. I may have missed one. Apple. Did I say apple? Okay. So pomegranate is definitely one of the fan favorites. It's one of our flagship drinks, meads.
Awesome.
And it's oh yeah.
Got the horn. This is real ox horn. with a food grade inside.
Ooh.
Of course. Fortunately.
I think so.
Could you walk us through now? Do you guys use pomegranate puree, or do you guys chop up pomegranates? And how do you add it? Is it after fermentation or before?
Cool. Yeah. So I can kind of dig in a little sciencey on that if you want. So pomegranate, I wish we went out and like gathered our own pomegranate. We sell too much of it, kind of a good problem to go out and chop up our own pomegranates. That would be rad. So yeah, we use juiced, like we get juice from a company, organic,
Nice.
and we can talk about organic and honey, how that's kind of a weird thing because you can't control where the bees go. But as far as the juice, organic ingredients, pomegranate juice. And so there's two different ways you can use fruit. So if you want a mead that has more kind of tannins and kind of more of a wine type of fruitiness to it, you would put it in earlier, like say mid fermentation, or maybe even a little towards, you would have the yeast ferment some of that fruit. If you want more of a sweet, true fruit flavor out of that mead, you would want to add that fruit post fermentation. Or else the yeast is going to get to those sugars and start to do stuff to it. So on our different meads, we kind of go back and forth depending on, say, like strawberry is a very sweet, very fruit forward one. Pomegranate lies somewhere near the more sweet side of things. And some of the others we dry out a little bit more. We did a plum that was like almost all plum, like the plum sweetness was fermented out. So it was more of a dry kind of tea tannin kind of thing. So I hope that kind of answers your question. It just depends what you're looking for, where you want to put that fruit juice.
Totally. Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Sure.
What do you think about that? Your first try, I think, of the pomegranate.
Okay, so I absolutely love it. I'm a big pomegranate guy anyway. I put it whenever, I eat the pomegranate yogurt. I love pomegranate. So when he said the two best are, he said pomegranate and prickly pear, I was like, or his two personal favorites. So I got hyped. It's great, and I like obviously like carbonated beverages, and dude, it's fantastic. I love it. I think I might be leaving natural wine and starting to just drink mead.
Nice.
You can do both.
Yeah, natural wine's getting a little expensive though. So.
Okay, right on.
What I like about this is that when I saw it, or and also when I've had other meads, I thought maybe it would be thick and syrupy, but it's actually like the mouth feels awesome. There's like a really nice carbonation, like you were saying, like a nice bubbly beverage. And I don't think it's overly sweet. I think it's basically like you're drinking pomegranate juice. So it's like, it's refreshing. It's tasty. Like I said, I'm kind of feeling under the weather and got this, the vaccination shot. And I feel like somehow this is making me feel better. It's energizing me.
It might also be Nick's face though.
True.
It might also be Nick's face.
Yes, it's obviously a little bit, at least my face, but so honey has been used medicinally. I mean, it still is, but forever. Whether it's you get a big old gash, you can actually put honey directly on the wound because it's an antiseptic. It's got anti-inflammatory properties and all that. So it's not just it's not just fanciful to think that it's kind of it's not like a health drink.
No.
We're not claiming that at all.
Can we start? Can we just start claiming it?
You can.
The elixir. For anyone in New York and Westchester listening, the elixir that will cure all your problems. Drink. Yeah. I'll stop.
Yeah, you guys can say that as part of the business. I cannot claim that, but it is. Yeah, honey is. So Donnie, you feeling under the weather? We have an elderberry that came out, and elderberries. I mean, there's research reports out there talking about the effects of elderberry on, suppressing influenza, not necessarily COVID, but influenza and flu and those kind of symptoms. So we had an elderberry mead that, again, we're not claiming anything, but that plus honey probably doing something good for you.
Yeah. If you've been eating those elderberries and drinking that elderberry mead and you just haven't gotten the flu, you're welcome.
Yep.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Nick, do you have any tasting notes for us? When you drink this.
Yeah, so you guys spot on with that slight sparkle. So we don't go, too crazy. Like we don't hit even close to the same volumes as say a beer would for the carbonation. But some of our meads, probably actually close to, maybe not quite half, but about half of our meads are sparkling meads, and so lightly carbonated. And we decide that based on what we think will go well. And Donnie, just what you said. One of the hurdles to get over when introducing people to mead is that they may have had mead before that was thick, sweet, cloying, like a sipper, kind of like a dessert, just sip on a little bit. We ain't about that here at Drinking Horn. we want mead to the masses. We're making mead for the masses, and we want you to know that you can have a dry, bubbly mead that you can have a couple glasses of. And pomegranate is semi-sweet. It's on the sweeter side of the things that we do. So there's even drier, believe it or not. But yeah, the pomegranate juice is a big hit on this. We throw it in late so that we really get that palm flavor on it. And yeah, it's apple and prickly pear are probably the ones that I would put in front of people first if I didn't get a better feel of what they might like.
It is delightful. I will also be ordering the elderberry because I feel like I'm getting the flu. So
it's got that beautiful, beautiful deep red color, and just to on top of what I already said, but I get almost like pomegranate fruit preserve flavors. I get bright notes of just that tangy or almost kind of tart fruit. I get some sweetness with the honey. I get that carbonation. It's just awesome, man. It's super juicy, and it's a lot more drinkable. When I looked at the bottle, I'm like, oh man, I'm not sure what to expect, but you could easily drink a whole bottle of this with no issue.
Which I kind of plan on doing. But especially I'm in New York. Obviously, we're not known for our great weather, but today was a beautiful day. And, mead, like Donnie said, usually they have this maybe not negative connotation, but usually, like you said, thick, misinformed. There you go. So when I have the window open, I got the nature coming in my face, and it goes perfectly. It's it could go summery, it's great, man. And it could. It's people that like lighter drinks, especially New York. They had the whatchamacallit, the summer wars of seltzers. I'm gonna start pushing all those dorks towards these. These are freaking amazing.
Heck yeah! But you can blend it in a nice cocktail, or even just with some club soda, and it would be fantastic. You could make this. You could double the bottle basically, and make a session mead with some club soda.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we have cocktails on all the time at the mead hall, and we definitely are big on the mead mixers because of that, it's 13%. So you mix it with, like you said, club soda, soda water, ginger beer. We do quite a few with.
That'd be really good.
Yeah, you can cut that alcohol and have even more. I really wish, so the end of this month, we're coming out with a mead hito. So we used mint and molasses and lime.
That's right up his alley right there. The Brazilian in him just came out.
How much are tickets to Flagstaff?
Cheap, I hear. So
honey. Sorry.
Come pick me up. Nice. Yeah, so
joking.
I wish I could have gotten that to you, but it's still not even. We just bottled it actually yesterday.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, there's a lot that you can do with mead. It's not just some of these fruits. We've done a metheglin. So metheglin was derived from the word medicine. So it's any mead that has spices or herbs in it. And so back in the day, your medicine was an herb or some kind of plant usually, and it probably may not have tasted super great, just to gnaw on some kind of willow bark or something like that. So if you were able to take whatever that medicine was and mix it in with a mead and drink it, then, even better, instead of a spoonful of sugar makes medicine go down, like a swig of honey wine. Go down. So anyway, it's a versatile drink for sure.
Well, that was a good segue when you were talking about going to Flagstaff, because that was the next question I wanted to ask Nick, was if you could tell us a little bit more, go deeper into the vibe of the mead hall and Flagstaff.
Yeah. So little old Flagstaff, growing, a growing little Flagstaff.
Yeah.
We're a mountain town here in Arizona. When most people think of Arizona, they think of, Wile E. Coyote cartoons. I did, desert, saguaros, the cactus everywhere. And like a big portion of the state is absolutely that. But we're up here on the Mogollon Rim, the Colorado Plateau at 7,000 feet. And so we're more of a mountain town, not necessarily a giant mountain range, but so we're an outdoor kind of place.
It's like an annex of Colorado, more or less.
Yeah, that's a good good description of it. Not quite as high mountains and crazy mountains, but
especially now that weed is legal too. So
yeah, we just passed that law here in Arizona as well.
Nice.
So,
and you guys up there?
Yeah, I work for a company that I still can't smoke weed. So,
Oh,
but
yeah.
good for everybody else here. Good for everybody else.
Yeah. Hey, if it mellows everyone else around me, then I'm good, even though I don't partake. So, what was I saying? Oh, Flagstaff. So Flagstaff's kind of vibe is definitely a coffee and a brewery and an outdoors kind of vibe. So being Flagstaff's meadery, the first meadery, the only meadery here in town, we didn't have the mead hall before. We've been making mead for a while now, since 2017, and we have this little space that I'm in now. It's an office now, but Thursday through Sunday, it was a little tasting room, and we had 2 tables and it started to get so packed, and it was standing room only, and people would come in, and there's no food. We're in this like warehouse industrial kind of complex. We had some like pretzels and stuff, but we just really saw the need
For mead?
The need. I got the need. The need for mead.
I think we just named this episode.
Oh, and we at least get $1 for every T-shirt sold of the "I got a need for mead" T-shirt you're gonna sell. Anyways,
absolutely, yeah. Checks in the mail. Yeah, so we decided it was time to expand, and we were just getting too packed in this little tiny space, and as a business too, it's very smart to have a tasting room. That's really where you're gonna introduce a lot of people, and downtown is pretty bumping here, especially when the Phoenicians come up from Phoenix. So anyway, that's the vibe of Flagstaff, is a very kind of laid back. We like to drink, whether it's coffee in the morning or whiskey in the morning. I mean, well, yeah,
Making an Irish coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? And so, yeah, we opened up the mead hall, and it was something definitely that I haven't seen much of anywhere. I really feel like we're the only mead hall in the nation that's an actual like full-fledged mead hall. There's a couple of spaces that have kind of a theme to them a little bit, but we really went at it 100% to give that experience.
Yeah, everyone can see it right now, and you can kind of tell it's one of those awesome immersive experiences, much like Steve and I talk about tiki bars all the time, and how you can visit these like immersive tiki bars that feel like you're at the bottom of a ship, or whatever. Oh, yeah. And your guys' mead hall definitely has this vibe of kind of time traveling back to.
And it feels like such an old, like you were saying before, an old but fresh take. Like everyone forgot about their roots, about, like you said, the purest form of alcohol, and you just kind of went the pure form of it. You didn't do gimmicky. You did like awesome hall, great beverages, and obviously cool people, like
handsome bartenders.
And some bartenders. I went out and visited you guys. I mean, your the town is. I was only there for 4 days, Donnie, but very cool town. I might be visiting again very soon.
Yeah.
So let's try the next mead.
Okay.
The prickly pear.
Prickly pear. Man, I wish we would have had like lemon ginger or that mojito. I mean, I love these too, but I just want big variety out there. All right. Ooh, whoa. When opening with your knife, always make sure you open with the correct side.
This is special to me because Nick and I have spent many a day harvesting prickly pear in the desert. So, yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes in like 90+ degree temperatures for several.
Sometimes in Speedos.
Yeah, sometimes in Speedos.
No. Those are some of my fondest memories, honestly.
Yeah,
me and you out there. We've got a little a vlog, if you will. Oh, let me turn this.
Very good vlog.
Yeah, of an episode where we went out and harvested and then took them to California, totally legally, to do a collaboration brew. So yeah, prickly pear.
It was definitely kind of an outlaw run because we went through like the Department of Agriculture or whatever, those like checkpoints where they see if you're transporting like foreign vegetation or fruit, and luckily they were not checking that day, or it was just a guy not very good at his job that's like, yeah, go ahead. And meanwhile our entire like the back is just filled with prickly pears. So
yeah. We didn't even think about it. It wasn't like we were trying to pull something off until we came to that checkpoint. All of a sudden we all like kind of looked at each other, we're like, oh shit.
Like we're about to get into trouble right now.
We are smuggling something across the border.
But you know what is found in Arizona and California all over the place? Prickly pears.
So. Right. And it's not like we were going around planting them or whatever. We were brewing a beer. So it all got used up. But yeah, that's some of the best days. Love it. But this is way different from the first mead that we just had. I would say this is way more honey forward. This is like when, for people that have tried like different honeys, if you're someone who likes going to like say Whole Foods or whatever and like trying out all the different kind of flavors of honey, this just tastes like an offshoot of that. It tastes like a honey that has like prickly pear notes, like has cactus notes to it. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. This one it started off as just a seasonal that was actually made. If you look at the right side of the front of the label, it doesn't really pop until you look at the right side. There's the Colorado River. This is Grand Canyon, and so this was made right when Grand Canyon was celebrating its 100-year, its centennial,
of being a national park.
Yes, it was. Yes, the Grand Canyon is very, very much older than 100 years. the national park of Grand Canyon celebrated its centennial. And so it's definitely honey forward. It's got a beautiful color. I love the color.
Yeah, it's this cool kind of like peach color. Yeah. It looks like delightful. A rosé. Yeah, you hit it right on the spot there. It looks like a rosé. I definitely feel like with the palm tasting more like fruit juice, this is definitely more in that mead realm. Super honey forward, delicious though.
Very good.
Less carbonated, more on that softer side.
Yeah, and this is it was a seasonal that just got so popular that we make it year round now too. I think people just love anything prickly pear out there. So,
do you mind telling us out of all the, or actually, let me reverse that. Could you reverse that for a second? I just wanted to read some of the comments here. People are saying, cool history, Biome Density, Brotherhood Winery Tour said so for Bernie there. He's like, no, someone told me this, so it's
about the honeymoon.
We got Mojitos More Problems. We got I forgot how to pronounce that. It's like
Caparina,
which
for
is
Brazil.
For Brazil, which is it's a cocktail. It's kind of like a mojito, but different.
Sugar, straight up sugar cane. Yeah, just like insane. It'll rot your teeth out, but it's also delicious. So
yeah, it's a funkier taste. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's Brazilian. It's funky,
And then he also says we share a chimney, Steve. So
yes, when we were talking about the marijuana, I have a very good friend / neighbor. He does dabble, and sometimes I might get contact. And the levels, they test for levels, which is, just saying, put my face to the chimney sometimes.
So getting back to what we were talking about, I was hoping that Nick could tell us a little bit about what states could have drinking horn delivered to them if they wanted to have something shipped out.
Oh man, I know we delivered to 36 states. Naming them off the top of my head might be. I can probably name some of the ones that we don't unfortunately ship to.
This isn't third grade where we got to name all the states.
I mean, freaking Google it. But you guys ship to almost every state, and
if you go to drinkinghornmeadery.com, and then there's a little tab called Buy Mead, BUY, Buy Mead. You can look at the list of states, but yeah, 36 of them. I've shipped to them all. We ship quite a bit. It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting to see all the different places we ship to, and I can tell if people have ordered before or if this is like their second or third order. And since getting the Mead Hall up and going, we've really seen a bump in shipping. And I know that may not make sense at first, but people come, they experience it at the Mead Hall first, they go back home, and then they order it. So yeah, it's awesome. Shipping alcohol is a little bit with the licensing, it's a little bit higher on the price of shipping than you might be used to. So order a lot to make it worth it, is I guess what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. And obviously you ship to New York, and like I said, next time my order will be bigger, because so this was our like starter pack,
Yeah.
Next time, I heard you say something about elderberry. I would love to try it. And then when you said the mojito, let me know. I'm jumping on that. That's
we've been tasting it. Probably we've been taking samples for tasting and research a little more on this one, on the Meadito, than we do on most of the other ones. It's good, and it was interesting. We did the mint we did the lime first, the lime juice, and then we did the mint, and then we soaked some more mint into it and got that right, and we were drinking it. And when you drank it, the flavors were really separated. You like really got the lime and you really got the mint. And then we added the molasses for the rum kind of flavor of the mojito or mojito. And it bridged a gap. It just really took the lime and the mint and made it a mojito. And we added that rum in there. We did not add rum, added the molasses in there, and it really just bridged the gap and brought it all together. I was, man, our brewers back here. I don't brew the mead. I don't make the mead. Sometimes I clean up afterwards, but but they, man, Charlie, our head brewer, and his two like assistants, Nick and Clint, are just, I don't know, they rolled that out, and I don't know why I was surprised, but we were all just like, damn, like you fucking made a mojito.
Yeah, we're becoming mad scientists back there.
Speaking of cocktails, if someone wanted to buy a bottle of that, it would probably go good with some rum. Saying that there's no rum in it, but you add a little bit of rum to that bad boy, and you might, take your mojito level up a notch, maybe two.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd take something up a notch. Adding, when you add spirits to mead, it takes it up a notch.
We were talking about procreation earlier. So.
Yeah, but before we do that, I wanted to end with, first of all, this was like way too professional of a podcast that we did, so I want to like drag it down into the gutter a little bit. Let's
fucking do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, because you became like the best interviewer of all time. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. I didn't want to step on toes, and I just, I kept along with that.
I'm just hyper alert right now because, like I said, I'm sick. So if I'm not in it, I'm just gonna be like,
the fucking the vaccine made you like Katie Couric. I don't know. It was awesome. All
right. So, anyways, going back into the gutter. We'll go back in the gutter. Let's talk about our venture in Arizona, because if we go back about 2 years, you came out to visit me in Arizona, and we did some brewery visiting, and we got into some shenanigans. So I wanted to get your take, I guess, on like some of the misadventures we had, and maybe even talk about your hummus, your airport hummus experience that you had.
Oh my!
Because Nick recently posted a picture. I think he was at the Grand Canyon, where someone just on a trail like painted some Red Rock.
Was it new? Were you by a creek? Were you by the creek? Or was it about 2.5 years old? So
I didn't do an analysis on it. So
no, you didn't check.
Collect a sample.
You didn't send it to the lab. You didn't send it to the lab. All right. So me and our buddy Robbie, we were planning it. We came out. So I was looking at the menu. I was starving. We kind of rushed to the airport. Starving on the plane. I'm just looking through, and I'm like, for some reason, hummus and carrots sounds great on an airplane. So yeah, I get it. Open it up. It was fucking borderline rancid, but I was so hungry. let me just try it.
How can you tell that it was rancid? Just it smelled like funky, or the
it looked like applesauce, which hummus is not supposed to look like. So I'm like, maybe they mixed this up. I was like, all right, let me take a dip. So I took a carrot, tasted. It was yeah. Except that's delicious. The other one, I'll explain what it did to me later. So,
yeah, you fly out from New York City to Flagstaff. I think you guys landed in Flagstaff Airport.
No, Phoenix. You picked us up in Phoenix. I think.
Oh, did I?
Wait, was it?
No.
Yeah, no. Katie, and our friend Kristen picked us up.
Okay.
Phoenix, we stopped at In-N-Out. So remember, we're piling on.
Yeah. So Rotten Hummus, In-N-Out Burger, flying for 5 hours.
Yeah.
We finally meet up.
Yeah. So, and I've been. That was when you were working for Dark Sky, obviously with Nick, and I've been hearing about this for so long. I think you sent me out a beer or two, but I was so excited, and you had a couple canned growlers. We drank a shit ton of them, and then of course you try to force gin down my throat as you always do. And whatever. And it was a very late night. We went to bed at like 5. I think we went to bed at like 5. Your guys' time. What is that? Western time?
We had an old fashioned drunk.
Yes. And then we woke up as Donnie loves to do, let's get up and seize the day. As me, I like to sleep till 3 the next day. After
Carpe the diem.
Yeah, and I'm usually carpe these nuts. I'm just gonna keep sleeping.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you were like, dude, we're going to the creek, or what? Yeah, they call it the creek. I don't know what exactly it's called.
It was in Winslow, Arizona, and it is
East Clear Creek.
East Clear Creek. Yeah.
Yeah.
But first, we stopped for some breakfast burritos.
Oh, I was getting to that. So we were talking about some super authentic, absolutely banging breakfast burritos, and I think I got 2. And
extra hot sauce.
Is this going to end up blaming the hummus for this? Because there's a lot of other factors coming into this.
But you blame In-N-Out Burger for
Never.
No. So they believe in Jesus. There's no way that they would hurt your stomach. So anyway, so we wolf those down. We head to Winslow, Arizona. The second we pull up, I'm like, oh, dude, what the fuck? Donnie's like, whoa, what's wrong, dude? I'm like, nothing. Let's make our way down there. So it's like, all right, so it's a long walk.
I would also add, and Nick could attest to this, that there's this decline that you have to do down pretty sketchy rocks, shattered glass, dirty underwear. It's unfortunate that it's so gnarly and so gross, because the area is picturesque. It's beautiful, clear water. It's an awesome spot that just gets trashed by
locals,
people partying. Continue.
Yeah. So we make our way all the way down. We have a friend, Mark Barbie. He's the belly flop king. So I held it together for that epic belly flop. I think I jumped myself. Surprisingly, didn't shit my pants. So
we all did a picturesque 6 overweight dudes with their beer bellies out doing a belly flop into the Clear Creek. Got an epic photo.
Yeah. So at this point, it's where it's ground control to Major Tom. Donnie's like, dude, just shit in the creek. And I'm like, no. I point, and there is 10 18-year-old girls that it was
pretty attractive. They're pretty attractive.
It would be shitting on a Maxim catalog, and it was just I'm like, I was like, no, I can't do it, dude. I was like, I can't do it. You're like, come on, stop being a pussy, just do it. I was like,
let me add that it's a river, so it's going downstream. So I'm like, hey man, I'm like doggy paddle 20 feet that way, pull your shorts down and let loose.
So I'm thinking, oh, there you go, swim. I gotta do all this stuff. This is too much work to go shit. I'm just gonna go walk up here, find a little rock, be done with it. He's like, all right, make sure you wear shoes. And I'm like, we were drinking. I'm like, yeah. Didn't put shoes on, no shirt on, and just started walking up. You remember it's the steep incline. And as he said, broken glass. So I'm walking barefoot with a 10-pound log. No, I wouldn't even call it log. 10 pounds of lava right at the cusp. I'm walking and every time I went to drop trowel, all of a sudden people pulling up with their car. I'm like, what the fuck? Every single time. So I walked for about half hour. I'm sure they were about to send a search party out.
And
walked for
it was
about
probably 90 degrees out too.
walked for half an hour. Feet are bleeding now at this point.
Oh.
Like basically Bruce Willis in Die Hard. They shot the glass. That's what I felt like.
More like
yeah.
Die Short.
Yeah, Die Short. Yeah. So finally, I found after this terrible walk, I found the most beautiful little like carved out rock in I don't know where. It was just crazy, and I just like I can't hold it anymore. Dropped and just destroyed this rock. And I'm not even joking. As I told Donnie this, as it was releasing, an eagle flew past. I am not kidding you. It was like finally, Steven, you let it release. And yeah, and the reason why I think it's the hummus is because of the consistency. So so In-N-Out Burger, burritos, all that stuff. I eat a lot of that, right? I don't eat a lot of rancid hummus in my life. So the applesauce that I said that it was like explains the texture. So I'm blaming it on was it Delta? Yeah, Delta.
Yeah.
Delta hummus. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I want to throw that back at Nick because, you know, he took an Instagram photo just saying basically like, F you, whoever this is, like, this is why we can't have nice things. And I want to ask Nick, I guess, what would you do in that situation then? If you're having tummy issues, you're a hiker, you're an outdoorsman, you like to visit a creek, you like to dabble in some hummus, you like to have a good old fashioned drunk every once in a while. Yeah. You know, put yourself in Steve's shoes and tell us some etiquette there.
Yeah, well, hopefully he didn't get any in his shoes, but he did one wearing shoes.
Yeah.
No, just my feet.
An aqua drop at that point is like not a bad idea, but the solution to pollution is dilution. So, you know, like I would say an aqua drop might be the best move there. But I mean, the body sometimes, you know, you just can't make a decision at that time. You just go primal on it. And unfortunately, someone probably saw that until the next big rainstorm, or maybe
or not,
a couple rainstorms.
I told you it was a cover, and I didn't, you know, it was a crouch, but it ended up being more of instead of a drop, it was more of a this.
Oh, that's a lot like the one I found that Donnie's talking about.
Were you in Winslow, Arizona?
No.
Okay.
I was in Sedona.
So my thing, it was yeah. So it was basically maybe it's a relative. I don't know. That had the same hummus. Maybe they had the same hummus on the New York flight out there. But my thing is, so it was a terrible experience during it. But now that I look back, it was a wonderful soul quest to find the perfect Shatteria place to go. Like it was almost like one of my greatest quests, and I've had some crazy shit. That was not actually crazy shits, but crazy shit happened to me. It was one of the more memorable things that happened in my life because the scenery is beautiful. My feet are bleeding, and I'm trying to avoid
eagle,
a majestic eagle. I could see all of them. I could see all of them from where I was. It was so high up. I could see all of them.
Your friends all having a good time. Yeah.
Belly flopping. And then like once in a while I'd be like, where's Steve? Like I'd be like, haha, I'm up here. Oh, like, yeah. So
they were belly flopping and you were dookie dropping.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is Donnie and I'm back here with Nick doing a little outro for the episode that you just listened to. We had a great time.
Oh man, yeah, that was some fun right there.
I feel like we learned a little bit about each other on a personal level. Steve had life-changing experiences. I feel like there was a bit of also like, what's the word, therapy for you because, you know, you had this issue. You were on Instagram and you were calling out people for having accidents on the trails. And then you got to talk with Steve, who here's a guy, you know, that not that he wanted to do it, but, you know, he was in that impossible scenario. And I think being able to connect with one of those trail poopers maybe, you know, it was like you walking a mile in someone's shoes.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely an experience to help me see, that not all people who drop and run are necessarily, it's not a choice,
Right.
perhaps.
Sometimes it's just, it's a necessary part of life. But we will say this: when forced into that scenario, it is much better to do that in the water. I forgot the term that you used. An aqua
The old
drop.
aqua drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our show officially sponsors aqua dropping over the old Red Rock trail splatter.
That's right. Everybody go to aquadrop.org. Actually, maybe go incognito browser.
Yeah. Speaking of incognito browser, Nick, would you tell people how to check out Drinking Horn Mead?
Heck yeah. Drinking Horn Meadery. We're here in Flagstaff, Arizona. If you are cruising through, maybe you're on your way Grand Canyon or somewhere else, we are right on Route 66 or Route 66, depending on, your vernacular, and come to the mead hall. And if not, if you're in one of the 36 states that we ship to, you can go online at drinkinghornmeadery.com and get some of our what I feel is the best mead out there, delivered right to your door. And if you want to check us out and see what we're all about, first of all, just go ahead and see all the shenanigans on Instagram and YouTube. You'll find some fun times there as well.
Besides that, I believe you guys do a couple live events on Instagram and a podcast as well.
Absolutely. Okay, you want me to plug everything? I'll plug everything. If you're on Instagram, every other Monday Night Mead, we do a live episode. We just did one live from the hive where we went and checked out our beehive. Sometimes we talk about some of the meads that are coming out. Sometimes we have special guests. So every other Monday night. And then the Meadcast is our podcast. Anywhere you find your favorite podcast, you can find us. The Drinking Horn Meadcast, we talk about Vikings, we talk about mead, and we talk about bees. And we do it in I think in a very lighthearted, fun manner. If you like this show, you'll probably like the Meadcast.
Nice.
Not quite so much of the poopy jokes, but pretty close.
I mean, if you want to equate bees and how they produce honey and fermentation to,
Plus we did talk about one of our latest episodes about exploding bee dicks. So there you
go. I don't know how to segue exploding bee dicks, but I will say this. I will say that when we go live, you should follow us on Twitch. We are twitch.com/theboystrystuff. Whenever we record our episodes, we go live on there. We do a video podcast. It's longer. It's unedited. And we have our followers actually make comments with us and participate. So that's a lot of fun. If you don't have time to join the live show, you could check us out on Spotify and on iTunes. It's The Boys Try Stuff on the internet.